Hello everybody, AntVenom45 here, and welcome back to another amazing video. Minecraft Bedrock Edition versus Java debate is over. Yes, you heard me right. Finished, done, complete, no more. A debate at the forefront of the biggest game of all time, the debate between Bedrock and Java Edition players about which edition of the game was better, is done today. For what I am about to tell you will revolutionize the future of Minecraft and the entire video gaming industry for that matter, ending a debate that has raged strong for years on end. Today, not only am I going to definitively decide which version is better, but I'm also going to conceptualize a theoretical solution that will at least hopefully make both parties happy. Also, you may notice the Bedrock Edition footage shown today is not on the PC platform. This is because my PC runs Linux, so it can't run Minecraft Bedrock Edition on it. Instead, I'm capturing the footage on my Nintendo Switch, which happens to have Bedrock Edition installed on it. Now, with all of the introductory jargon complete, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and when you are done, enjoy the rest of today's video. Let's begin. It was May of 2009 in the nation of Sweden. A talented young programmer by the name of Marcus Alexej Persson, probably really butchered that name, but it's whatever, sat down at his desk and began work on a new programming project. This project would later go on to reach unimaginable heights. This project, although not known then by the same name it is today, would later become what is now known as Minecraft, in particular the Java edition of the game, and although you might not recognize the real name of the programmer, you will certainly recognize his online pseudonym, which is Notch. In 2011, the game was finally ready to be released, and not long afterwards, really took off. But it only worked on the computer platform and no other devices. To clarify, Java Edition worked and always has worked on all types of computers but no other devices, meaning that console or mobile players cannot hop onto the Minecraft hype train. To solve this problem and boost the game's sales in 2012, the year following the release of the original Java edition of the game, Mojang, the company behind Minecraft, decided to roll the second edition of the game, the Legacy Console Edition. The Legacy Console Edition of the game was released for the Xbox 360, Xbox One, PS3, PS4, PS Vita, Wii U, and later Nintendo Switch, in addition to backwards compatibility for the more modern Xbox Series S/X and PS5 consoles, for the purpose of bringing the Minecraft experience to the console platform and growing the already substantial player base even further. Although Minecraft Legacy Console Edition is actually made up of several different and compatible ports of the game, they are similar enough to be considered one and only one edition of Minecraft. Also in the year of 2012, the initial version of Minecraft PE, or Pocket Edition, was released in public, officially coming out of beta. As you might have guessed, this edition of the game was released for the purpose of allowing those on phones and tablets to play the wonderful game that is Minecraft. This version of the game is the one in which the Nether Reactor Core and original Stonecutter, the latter of which I clearly remember using, were in. This version of the game was a good decision overall for not only the player base but also the hype surrounding the game to previously unforeseen heights. Everything changed, however, on the 15th of September 2014. On this date, Microsoft announced plans to purchase Mojang, the studio that had produced Minecraft, along with complete rights to the game for a whopping sum of $2.5 billion. Just under 2 months later, on the 6th of November that year, the deal was finalized. Shortly after this agreement occurred, Notch, the lead developer of Minecraft, retired, leaving Jeb, his right-hand man, in full control of the game, and retiring to live the high life in a $70 million mansion located in Beverly Hills. Although his story does not end there, this story is not the focus of today's video. Anyway, shortly after the acquisition occurred, Mojang, now owned by Microsoft, began rolling out updates that are mediocre at best, starting with the wildly, and I truly do mean wildly, controversial Minecraft 1.9 Combat update, which released on February 29th, 2016. For more context and insight about what made this update so unpopular, please feel free to head over to my first public upload on this channel, my Minecraft update tier list. Although the quality is very much lacking in comparison to my uploads nowadays, it's still watchable, so as I mentioned before, head over there if you want some more insight into these updates. Later that year, particularly on November 18th, just over 2 years after the initial acquisition occurred, Minecraft Bedrock Edition was released. This version of the game merged together the player base of the Legacy Console Edition, Pocket Edition, and new Windows 10 Edition, unifying them under one roof and allowing them to easily play together across all kinds of different devices. Although at this point the feature list of most of these versions is somewhat behind that of the Java edition of the game, it did not take long for the Bedrock Edition of the game to catch up with its Java counterpart. Nowadays, these two editions of the game are the only two primary versions of the game. There is much debate over which is better, for there is no clear winner. Both have substantial player bases and are roughly the same feature list. Exactly which version of the game wins is a tough competition that will be decided in today's video, so stick around if you want to know who prevails in the end. On that topic, I think it's about time to dive straight into some ranking. Before we begin, please note that today's topic will be fairly controversial, so buckle your virtual seatbelts and prepare for the ride of your life. As mentioned previously, this section of today's video will focus on definitively defining the superior edition of the game. After much thought, I have come up with 10 primary topics of disparity between the two versions of the game. For each of these topics of disparity, I'll be declaring whether the manifestation of the aforementioned disparity is better on the Java or Bedrock edition of the game, then give the chosen edition between 1 and 3 points based on how much the category won by, or if the manifestations are equally good, I will declare the category a tie and give neither version any points. When the ranking is done, whichever version has the most points will be declared the true superior version of the game. So with that out of the way, let's dive right into the first topic of disparity. Modding. Starting off this ranking strong, we are now going to be talking about modding, an important and controversial topic. The difference is night and day. One edition is easily, and I mean without the slightest doubt, king of the Minecraft modding scene. This edition is of course the Java edition of the game. Bedrock edition modding capability is lacking to say the least. The only reliable way to get mods for the Bedrock edition of the game is to use the marketplace, which is only a very limited library of mods available, if they can even be considered mods. The library is not only pitifully small, but is also almost exclusively comprised of one of 3 categories of mods, being mods made for adventure maps, random mods that are completely useless, and mods made to reference or provide the experience of another game, movie, TV show, or franchise. Mods often fit multiple of these categories at the same time. Performance mods such as Optifine and Sodium, and technical mods such as Mini HUD, the Replay Mod, or World Edit, probably the 2 most popular and useful categories of mods, just don't exist in Bedrock Edition at all. Also, for the vast majority of these mods, you need to pay real money for them. You might say, hey Atmeal, but don't they use virtual currency called Minecoin? Yes they do, but it costs real money to buy. You may have found Minecraft Bedrock Edition mods, in quotes, in stores such as the Apple App Store, Google Play, but the vast majority of these are either scams or viruses, and I would never recommend purchasing or downloading any of these third-party mods under any condition. I apologize if my rant was a bit much for you. Minecraft Bedrock Edition modding isn't bad. In fact, it's much better than modding in most other games, but in comparison to the Java edition of the game, it is absolutely left in the dust. Minecraft Java Edition's modding potential is expansive, amazing, and nearly uncapped. Though by default the game will not properly support mods, mod launchers such as Forge or Fabric, which are not only provably reliable and safe, but are also EULA compliant, open the door to possibilities brought by modding. You can add or change basically anything you want to the game through the use of mods. Furthermore, mods are relatively easy to create, and basically all the notable ones can be downloaded for free in websites proven to be reliable and safe, such as curseforge.com. It is really quite incredible and absolutely crushes the Bedrock edition of the game. In conclusion, Minecraft Java Edition is by far an elite in terms of modding. I'll give it 3 points for the category of disparity, for Bedrock Edition's lack of modding capability is frankly tragic. Modding is an essential part of the game, and Bedrock Edition should undoubtedly get a better modding system than what is currently implemented. Lag is how smoothly the game runs, how much load is on your computer when you play the game, and this category is absolutely dominated by one edition of the game, which is, drumroll please, Bedrock Edition. In YouTube video I was watching, the person making the video tested the lag of Bedrock Edition versus that of Java. The results were shocking. In his test, he found that Java Edition with a render distance of 32 had noticeable lag both in terms of frame rate and in terms of chunk loading, whereas Bedrock Edition with a render distance of 96 did not lag at all and also loaded the chunks extremely quickly. Furthermore, I saw another comparison from another YouTuber that if you create a server that can host 30,000 concurrent players in Bedrock Edition, you'd only be able to host 3,000 players in Java Edition with the same hardware. Because lag is roughly as important as modding, and the difference between two versions is roughly equivalent to the two categories, I'm going to give 3 points to Bedrock Edition to this category. Java Edition truly has a lag issue that needs to be solved. Reliability is how reliable and consistent the game is. The main meat of this category is glitches, both how common, how bad, and how many there are in each version. This category also has a definitive winner, this time being Java Edition. On Bedrock Edition, there are many accounts of random deaths or bizarre things happening to people in their worlds in-game, and I'll play some of these clips happening right now. These are rare to the point of you having to go out of your way to make them happen in Java Edition. For example, chunk glitches where chunks will either randomly vanish or behave strangely. On Bedrock Edition, these glitches have happened for no known reason whatsoever, including one incident in an old survival world of mine where about 64 chunks near spawn would just never load. In Java Edition, they only happen when either your hard drive runs out of memory or you downgrade versions and there are blocks from the original version that are not the one you're downgrading to. Also, the random deaths that play Bedrock Edition and are any hardcore mode player's worst nightmare are rare and extremely conditional in the Java Edition of the game, to the point where you can basically rely on them not happening. In total, I would give Java Edition the win in this category, scoring 2 out of 3 possible points. Graphics. Graphics. A complicated category that it might not seem like it on the surface is a top competition that is no obvious winner. What does each side bring to the table? Bedrock Edition initially seems like it takes the cake. Its amazing RTX mode revolutionizes the graphics of the game in ways that are almost unmatched by Java Edition. However, not only do you need a high-end graphics card to run this mode at all, Java Edition has its own ray tracing shaders that are almost as good for players who use either the Optifine or Iris shaders mods and down these aforementioned third-party shaders. Although Java Edition's RTX shaders do not require a high-end graphics card to run, they will surely crash those who attempt to run them on less powerful computers and leave questions about whether they can actually be counted, for they are not accessible in the middle of the game, requiring mods to do anything at all. Java Edition has a large variety of other shaders that can be used, and each made the game look different. However, alongside the RTX shaders, they require either Optifine or Iris shaders in addition to a separate download for the shader itself. On the other hand, I am personally under the belief that neither game has a superior default appearance without RTX or shaders or anything. Each has their own positives and negatives. In total, I would say that in terms of graphics, neither category wins, and I'll have to declare this category today's first tie. What about each version's menus? For the most part, I'd say that the menus of each edition of the game are equivalent. Each set has their own benefits and drawbacks, and not much would edge one set above the other. However, there is one thing more specifically a keybind that easily declares which edition is current king of menus, and that keybind is F3. By pressing this key in Bedrock Edition, it will do nothing unless you bind an action to it, but in Java Edition, it will display a debug screen chock full of useful information. I kid you not when I say that this one singular menu easily gives the category to Java Edition, but because it is only one somewhat insignificant screen out of the dozens of the game's menus, I'll have to give it only 1 point to the version. Each game allows a certain amount of vanilla customization within the game. Things such as how the game looks, runs, and sounds, basically how much the player can customize to the game to their liking without modifying it. First up is the elephant in the room, resource packs. Bedrock Edition does the resource packs, both those that you can buy from the marketplace in addition to the ability to import your own, but these packs are hard to find and install in addition to only working on the PC platform. On the other hand, although Java Edition doesn't come with resource packs apart from the programmer art pack, made from the old textures, its community-made resource packs are much easier to find and, for the most part, are completely free. Other than skins, which have their own separate category, this is the only real topic of disparity worth talking about between the two editions of the game in terms of customization. In the end, I'm going to have to give this category to Java Edition, but only by 1 point. Crossplay, the category that Bedrock Edition is known for. For those who don't know, Crossplay is the ability for players to play one game together despite what platforms they are on, along with the mere number of platforms supported. In terms of platforms supported, I would consider there to be 8 primary modern platforms that any game should support, being macOS, Linux, Microsoft Windows, iOS and Android, and Xbox One through Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PS4/PS5. Of these, Java Edition only supports the 3 computer platforms, whereas Bedrock Edition supports all of the platforms mentioned above, except for macOS and Linux, the latter of which I unfortunately use. In terms of compatibility between the platforms, Bedrock Edition excels. Although both versions support universal crossplay, meaning that all users of each individual edition can play together despite the different platforms they may be playing on, the feat is much more impressive in Bedrock Edition because they are able to unify platforms between all modern consoles and smartphones, in addition to Microsoft Windows. While in Java Edition, they just unified players between different computer platforms. In the end, I'll give this category to Bedrock Edition, winning by 2 points. Cosmetics is also a complicated category, with each edition having their own highs and lows. Being mainly comprised of skins, cosmetics also cover other things their avatar displays to other players, such as capes or custom skin modifications. On the topic of skins, in Java Edition, people can use external programs to either create their own skins or download ones made by other people. The skins conform to the 16-bit resolution and stay within the normal and vanilla shape, with the sole exception of the account Deadmau5, which is a half Easter egg, half tribute, which had EDM artist signature used to his Minecraft skin, and I think it was a good decision in terms of game design and Easter eggs. However, Bedrock Edition skins are much more complicated. You're only able to import skins on the mobile and PC platforms, not the console ones, so for a very long time, console players stuck to either importing a custom skin on a PC or mobile device or using a skin pack, the latter of which rarely contains skins that actually suit people in the same way custom ones do. To combat this lack of customizability, Mojang added a skin creator. It was supposed to be a good thing, but it was fatally flawed to the point that you can't make anything with the blandest avatars without paying money, and even if you do pay money, you often can't create something that properly expresses yourself. Furthermore, Bedrock Edition skins are often non-conforming to the style of the vanilla game. For example, they're often 32-bit in resolution and have not otherwise possible 3D modeled things added to them, such as tails or crowns. We haven't even gotten started on capes. Another cosmetic, formerly a rarity but now made common by the Microsoft Migration Cape, is exclusive to the Java edition of the game. In a nutshell, a Minecraft cape is a banner worn on a player's back for others to see that also affects elytra work on you. There are rewards for doing a variety of tasks, from going to various uses of Minecon to being a mod that gets implemented into the game to migrating your Mojang account to a Microsoft one. They're seen as a rarity, a token of achievement of sorts, with different ones being rarer than others and a handful being owned by only one player. In total, I would give this category to Java Edition, winning by 1 point. Combat. Bedrock versus Java combat is admittedly a bit of a controversial topic, so buckle your virtual seatbelts even harder and prepare for a bit of controversy. Basically, in Minecraft 1.9, Minecraft's combat was changed fundamentally. Instead of being spam-based with the fast clickers winning, it became more strategic, in quotes. An attack cooldown was added, axes were buffed, and both shields and sweeping attacks, along with the new sweeping edge enchantment, were added. This update remains one of, if not the most controversial updates in the game's over 10-year-long history. However, once Bedrock Edition was created, many of the changes were averted. This included the sweeping edge enchantment, attack cooldown, and axe buff, but surprisingly not the shield. According to official Mojang statements, the Minecraft changes were made to make combat more fair for the mobile devices, which I personally think is a good decision. However, it does not stop the difference between the two combat systems between the two major editions being a major point of disparity. In my personal but potentially controversial opinion, I have no preference about which system I like better, so I'm going to declare this category a tie. Game features. The final category for today's video is game features, being how much content is actually in each version of the game. Although neither edition is missing anything too major, I'm going to have to give this category to Bedrock Edition because it has a lot of quality of life features that are simply missing from Java. One example is the drown swimming animation. In Bedrock, there's an animation for drown swimming like the player that is simply missing in Java. Another example is down trees. In Bedrock Edition, fallen tree trunks can be found with mushrooms on them in forest and dark forest biomes, but in Java, these are strangely missing. In total, I would give this category to Bedrock Edition, but only by 1 point, because, as mentioned before, there are no major game features that one version is missing, just smaller quality of life things. In total, Java Edition earned 8 points, whereas Bedrock only earned 6. This definitively declares the superior edition of the game, meaning that yes, the Java edition of the game is better than Bedrock Edition. However, there are some categories where the Bedrock edition actually dominated in, such as lag, crossplay, or game features. Although the Java edition was better overall, as mentioned above, it didn't dominate in all of the categories, meaning that depending on what you want out of the game, the Bedrock edition might be for you. It's really just a matter of opinion, although the Java edition is better overall, and I would personally recommend it more. With the ranking out of the way, let me present my idea for the way to unify the player base of both editions of the game. My idea is a unified version, an edition that is the best of both worlds, one that will create a union not just between the two current editions of the game, but also between the player base of each. I'll now explain how each of the categories mentioned above will be implemented. First up is lag. This is a huge problem with the Java edition that you might believe is caused by the Java programming language where the game is written, and although it is true to an extent, there are other solutions that allow for compatibility with pre-existing mods and other Java exclusive features in addition to very improved performance. I present to you the Aether engine, the engine upon which this new version of the game, the Aether edition, will be based. This engine was not designed by me, but rather by a software startup at the company of Hypepixel that is working with Mojang right now to create a brand new game engine. It's basically just a major overhaul and optimization of the Java edition of the game's code. It is undoubtedly the future of the game, and to prove that to you, let me give an example. Using the Aether engine, a Mojang employee was able to get a server with 1,000 players on at the same time in one world. For perspective, the best computers out there right now can probably handle about 400 players max in the same world, and that is with extensive lag reduction plugins and no one loading any new chunks. Servers such as Hypepixel are actually made up of hundreds of different servers, each running their own world, and thus meaning that although it may look like 200,000 players on the same server, this is actually only partially the case. Next up to be dealt with is modding. This new edition should have some kind of inherent support for both Forge and Fabric mods, along with full compatibility with existing and new mods for Minecraft Java Edition without having to download any third-party programs. There should also be some kind of way to get to easily enable, disable, and install mods in either the game itself or its launcher. In terms of features, I think it should take Bedrock Edition's surplus of quality of life features to heart and have them all. In terms of combat, I've conceptualized an idea for an improved Minecraft combat system that fits the restrictions of all platforms and work on all. I'll be probably making a video explaining it sometime soonish. On the topic of graphics, I think this Ultimate Edition of Minecraft should have internal support for shaders, along with a good set of pre-installed ones, in addition to the default graphics of Java Edition and the menus of Java Edition, including a full F3 screen. It should also have no marketplace, but instead an integrated place to find skins, resource packs, mods, and worlds that anyone can submit to for free, kind of like Planet Minecraft or CurseForge, in addition to a way to import your own on the computer platform. And this version of Minecraft should have the reliability of Java Edition, in addition, pun not intended, to the implementation of some useful and vanilla-esque glitches in both versions, such as TNT dupers, chunk loaders, and strident killers. Finally, cosmetics. I believe this version of the game should allow you to import your own skins in the platforms that allow it, in addition to two types of skin creator, one which allows you to access a wide range of cosmetics, clothes, and hairstyles, all for free, and one that gives you a 3D model of your current skin and the ability to use professional tools to customize it to your liking. With the exception of Deadmau5, all skins are confirmed to the default 16-bit resolution of the game. The way that accounts in this new version of the game would work is that you get it for free if you have a Java Edition account, but you can also purchase it for the same price as the Java Edition from Minecraft.net, Google Play, or the Apple App Store. All capes and skins from that version of the game, in addition to realms, if you either owned one in Java Edition or linked your account to a Bedrock Edition account with a realm with the new version, will be transferred, and you would even have the opportunity to receive either or both of two new capes, one for linking your Aether Edition account to a Java one, and one for linking it to a Bedrock Edition account. You should also be able to convert Bedrock worlds to the Java format it would use. This is exactly how the Aether Edition would work, and hopefully it will please everyone. I sure did my best to create something that truly everyone would enjoy. In summary, this video was quite a banger. First, we definitively decided the Java edition of Minecraft is superior to the Bedrock edition of the game after a close battle of analyzing each of the primary points of disparity, with the final score being 6-8. However, we decided that you get to play the game however you want to, the ruling is just what the statistics say. It was only then we conceptualized an idea for Minecraft 8th edition, a version of the game that is positive as each current edition of the game, in addition to some newer reworked systems that makes the game better. I'm glad I got to share my ideas with all of you, and I'm personally very proud of it and excited for what the future holds for the game of Minecraft. Please feel free to comment down below what you think of the Unified Edition of the game, and whether or not you get it if it was real. Also, if any Mojang or Microsoft employees are watching today's video, you're welcome to create and publish my idea for the Unified Edition, so long as my Minecraft account gets custom cape and my username gets put in the game's credits. My Minecraft account name for the Java edition of the game is the same as my username here on YouTube, being @mule245. Whether or not you're a Mojang employee, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and whether or not you did, please like it and subscribe to my channel, in addition to sharing my wonderful content with all of your friends, fans, and family. Join the Discord server that I have created for my channel, which is linked down below. The server is an amazing place to hang out with me and fellow fans, discuss content, and more. So with that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed, and see all of you in my future content. Goodbye!